In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how we can blend two photos together and create an effect like this. If you're new here and want the latest tips, tricks and tutorials for all of the Adobe suite, please click subscribe, followed by the bell. So for today's video, we're going to be using two photos. We've got the woman in the sea, and we've then just got a photo of the road, and I'm going to use this to show you a simple tutorial on how to blend things together quickly and easily. So first of all, what we're going to do is place the woman in front of the road. So I'm just going to use the copy and paste method and paste it onto this here. I'm going to delete the background. Now, one thing we'll probably want to do is actually position her correctly. So what I would advise doing is reducing the opacity to 50% there so that we can see both images. If we then drag it into place, you can use the shortcut Control and T to resize the image to what we want. So just do this by eye. I'm going to say there, center her there. We can also use the arrow keys. You can use up, down, left and right if you want to fine tune where the position is. So once we've got that in place, I'm going to put the opacity back to 100% so we can see, and I then just need to make a selection around the woman. So what I'm going to do is Control and plus is the shortcut to zoom in. Scroll down. Now I'm not going to do this perfectly. When cutting out, using the pen tool is usually always the best. When it comes to things like people, selecting and then refining edges is, but I'm going to do this quickly. So you may have the magic wand tool there. If you click and hold it, we can change to the quick selection tool. Once we've got that, if we just select around her, so I'm not going to go too detailed here, I'm just going to get a rough selection. Put a bit more than I wanted there. If you hold your Alt key, you can delete stuff at any time. So once we've done that, I'm now going to press this button down here to mask. And that gives us our layer mask. So if I zoom out a bit, you can see that's the layer mask there. And of course, if we double click on that, you do get the extra options. So you've got your refine edges, you can smoothen them, feather them, contrast, shift the edges if you want to contract or expand them. So if we just go down, just going to make sure everything's okay. So I'm just going to do a little bit of edge refinement. So that's on that there. And just get rid of, you can see there's a fair bit of blue around the outside here. So I'm just going to get rid of this, bring some of the hair back. And then you can use the other tool there to bring it back. Or alternatively, you could just completely smooth it off yourself. A lot of people prefer to do that and just change. Just go like that. And all I'm doing again is holding Alt to get rid of that. There will need some edge refinement down here because there's a lot of blue coming out there. So I'm just going to go over that. And there we go. Again, you can smooth slightly if you want. That may help depending on your image, but I don't know what image you're using. Of course, these images are down in the description if you want to download and follow the same tutorial. But once you've cut it out, you can see we've now got the woman in the middle of the road, but it doesn't look very blended. We've already got the mask here, so the first thing we're going to do is just add a bit more around the edge, and this is going to be very clear and look like water. So the best way to do this is using the brush tool, and you can see when I click, it's removed because the color I have selected is black. When we're working on a mask, if you use black, it will delete. If we use white, it will add. So if I change this to white, now I'm just going to go round very slightly, just bring in the texture of the water here. So you can do this by eye however much you want to come through, but we're going to extend a bit on the end afterwards anyway. So I'm just going to make a nice circle there, nice and deep. Once we've done that, the best thing to do now is duplicate the layers. So that's clicking on the layer and Control J. And we're going to add a different blend mode to this one. So I'm just going to rename this layer Blend. Once we've renamed that layer, we're going to choose the blend mode. So I'm actually going to go with hard light, I think. If you do need to pick your own, hide the top layer and you can sort of go through them, see which one brings out the road texture best. And in this instance, I found it was hard light. You can see it is coming through, and when we add that, you won't notice it anyway. So on this second blend layer, make sure we've got that mask selected, and again we're going to bring back, but what I'm going to do here is go slightly bigger on my brush size. One thing you do need to make sure is if you right click, make sure hardness is 0%. So on this, I'm just going to go round the edge a bit more, but you can see we get more road texture in this blend mode. So I'm just going to go round the edge. I don't want to go too far behind, but I do want plenty in the foreground. So I'm just going to Slightly put it behind, and one thing you can do is change the opacity of your brush up here. You want to change it to something like 10%. You can then do a lot more fine work. As you can see there, it will take a lot of clicks to bring something, and sometimes it's good just to do some clicks around the edge just to blend that in. But that'll do for now. So we can see we've got the texture of the water, we've got the texture of the road, and it is blending in. So if we back out, what I'm now going to do is group these layers together just to make them easier to work on. So if we press shift and click both, or you can control and click both, that will get them selected. And the next shortcut we're going to use is Control and G, and that will simply group the layers. Now once we've done this, I'm going to use an adjustment layer. So if I click down here, we're going to go hue saturation, and the reason for this is that we can remove the blues as well. So one thing you want to do is click this button here to make sure it is just our layer mask, and we're first going to remove the cyan. So if we click cyan, remove the saturation, put it all the way to the bottom, and you can see it gets rid of those blues for us there. We'll also go into blues, do exactly the same again, and as you can see, it's now got the effect you want. So the great thing here is at this stage, this is where I would personally refine them. So if there's something you want in your blend modes, if you want more of the texture in there or less, I would simply do that from here. So you can see just adding bits in just to give a little bit more of an effect there. I've got mine set to 10%, so you could you bump that back up to 100% if you want lots in there, and then just add as much as you want. Again, if you do go over or it's not what you want, you simply change the white to black, and we can go through and then delete what we've been adding. But that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to show you an easy way to blend things together. And then obviously other things we could do here is if we go into this, we could crop. If we crop, just make that thinner there, give us a nice rectangular image. Press enter and it will save that. And then one thing we maybe could do is if you wanted to do an adjustment layer on here, hue saturation, and maybe you wanted a bit of blue out the sky, so we'll go cyans again, pull the saturation back, go into the blues, pull the saturation black, and you can see it just blends in a bit better there. We haven't got so much blue in the sky. But that's pretty much it. So of course, if you've got any problems, any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Again, all the files you need for this are down in the description below. But thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, smash a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down twice, and I'll see you guys in the next one.